All right, guys. So as far as the melody section goes, it's a very straight ahead 16th note kind of thing. So it's 4 notes per beat, and what I would do is after you learn this, I would just practice with a metronome for quite a while and take it slow, take it really slow, and then notch it up a little bit in speed, and then just keep doing that until you work it up to tempo. Because at first, when I learned this, it seemed really fast because I didn't really know the melody very well, and I didn't know the notes, so I was always behind. I was struggling to reach that next note and figure out what it was. But now that I'm really familiar with it, it's like I actually want to play it faster than it is because the tempo is actually kind of pretty slow for this riff. So what I would do is, the way we're going to show this is we're going to break it up into little sections. So you learn one section, then the next one, then you add those two and practice that. Then you learn the next section, and that's the way I found it easiest to learn. So maybe you'll feel the same way. Again, the other thing that he does is he uses the neck pickup on this, but what I can't really, I don't want to teach with that because it's really loud. If you hear right now, that's how loud it is. It's a little noisy, but if I put the neck pickup on, the hum is just way too loud, and that's just the environment we live in. It's way too many electronic devices. So with that said, let's get started. So it starts out with an open E string, then it hammers on to the 2nd fret. So, and then it slides up from the 6th fret to the 7th fret on the D string. So you're skipping the A string. So you have, and those are the first 4 notes. Then it goes and skips to the B string, and it slides from the 5th fret to the 7th fret. So, and then it plays the 9th fret on the E string. So, then it skips all the way down to the D string, and it slides from the 7th fret to the 6th fret with your 2nd finger. So, and I'm gonna probably, you'll see me looking at a cheat sheet here of notes because it's kind of hard to remember all this, for me at least. Instead of, if I play the whole thing through, I'll be fine. But if I have to start in the middle of it, I get screwed up. So then it goes. So after it slides down from the 7th fret to the 6th fret on the D string, it goes from the A string from the 7th fret to the 11th fret. So, and that was pretty much the first section I learned. And again, just work it with a metronome. Now the 2nd section starts with, after it slides up to the 11th fret on the A string, it skips to the G string, and it plays the 9th fret. Then the B string, it plays the 12th fret. Then the 14th fret on the E string. And it slides down from the 14 to the 12 on the E string. And it's almost like a chord shape. Right? So it's like 1 note per string kind of thing. So the whole thing together is. But again, you don't want it ringing out. You want to do 1 note at a time. So after you play the note, once you play the next note, you're lifting your finger on that and you're kind of muting the string. So then when it slides down from 14 to 12 on the E string, it slides down from the 12th fret to the 11th fret on the D string. So that whole thing is. Then it slides, once it slides from the 12 to the 11 on the D string, it goes from the 9th fret to the 4th fret on the A string. So that whole thing is. Then it goes into the section, and again, I sort of thought of this as the next section that I learned, because from the 4th fret of the A string to the 6th fret of the D string, and you slide up a half step to the 7th fret. So you have. Then it goes to the, on the G string, the 6th fret. So you have... Then it slides from the 7th fret to the 9th fret on the B string. So if you look at this pattern, you have these 3 notes, which could almost look like it's coming out of a D major 7 chord, right? Or it's coming out of an F sharp minor chord. Right? So that section... Now, if you add all that together, it goes... So after it does that little F sharp minor kind of section, it slides from the 9th fret of the D string down to the 6th fret of the D string. Then it slides from the 7th fret of the E string to the 12th fret of the E string. Then it goes to the 11th fret of the D string. So again, you could almost think of that as 6th intervals. You could see these shapes. So you got to really see the shapes in order to memorize this almost, unless you are, again, really familiar with the pitches. So the whole thing so far goes. Then when it gets to that 11th fret of the D string, it goes to the 9th fret of the A string and slides down to the 7th fret of the A string. So, and now the whole thing of that goes. Then it skips all the way to the B string and goes from the 9th fret to the 7th fret. Then and that's on the B string. Then it goes to the 6th to the 7th fret on the D string. So that's... Now, at this point, it does this cool little, it stays in this section, and it's just skipping strings, sliding up a note on one string, sliding down a note on another string. So I'll play the whole section first. So you could see everything's happening right here. And this is where I kind of have to look at the cheat sheet. And I'm just going to go over the notes real quick, and then at the end I'll play through it again. So basically it is... After it goes from this 6th fret to the 7th fret on the D string, it slides from the 9th fret to the 7th fret on the G string. So that's a very simple pattern. If you see the scale, right, it's... So you have... Now the next part goes from the A string, 7th fret to the 9th fret. Then it goes to the D string, 11th fret to the 9th fret. So you're going... So that whole section is... Now it goes to the 7th fret of the E string, slides up to the 9th fret of the E string. Then it goes from the 12th fret to the 11th fret of the A string. So if you notice, there's no string skipping here. Everything's one string away from each other. So you have the D string and the the D string and the G string doing this. Then you have the A string and the D string doing this. Then the E string and the A string doing this. So that whole thing is... Then after it goes down from the 12th fret to the 11th fret on the A string, this is where it skips to the G string, goes from the 9th to the 7th fret. So you have 9, 7 on the G string, 9-11 on the D string, and then 9-7 again on the A string. So you're just doing... And it's a cool little sliding back and forth on this whole thing. So you have... So after that section that goes... It goes to the B string on the 9th fret to the 7th fret. Then on the E string from the 5th fret to the 9th fret. Then it goes to the 12th, 14th, back to the 9, all on the E string. So you have this. And then it slides from that 9th fret to the 7th fret. So you have... Then it goes to the B string from the 10th fret to the 9th fret, skips down to the D string and goes from 9, 7, 6. So the whole thing one time is... And then what it does, it repeats that whole thing one more time. And then it goes into like a B section of this melody. And that basically starts out at the end of that first section. When it's on the 4th fret of the D string, it starts out from the... the 6th fret of the D string. It goes to the 4th fret of the D string and slides up to the 7th fret. Then it does the 9th fret on both the G and the B string. So you have... Then it slides from the 9th fret to the 7th fret on the B string. So you have... Then it goes from the 6th fret of the G string and slides up a half step to the 7th fret. So again, if you're seeing these little chord voicings, then you see that 4th interval in there sliding up a half step, right? And I would just, again, in these little sections, I'd work on just that. Then I'd go to the next section. So that next section would be sliding down from that 9th fret to the 7th fret. Then you skip, that's on the E string. Then you skip to the D string and you slide from the 7th fret to the 6th fret. So again, another little tip in all this, most of these slides that are happening, take notice, they're either a whole step or a half step.